What's up, cool people? I'm Matt Conroy. Welcome to my vlog. So, now that I've said most of what I want to say, kind of trailing off of the movie I Can Only Imagine, I'm going back to more adventures in job hunting, at least for this video. So, first off, let me just say, there are some things that happen to you in the job search process. You know, a lot of the getting turned down, just the different applications, all that kind of stuff. But then, every once in a while, there's something that happens in the process because of you. I was guilty of one of those things just recently. So, what happened in this case was, I had made some tweaks to my resume and things like that, and changed the file name for it. I mean, more accurately, just saved it under a different file name without getting rid of the previous stuff. I mean, I figured the last one I had, it was saved specifically as, you know, the version for 2017. So that was part of the reason I made the changes to begin with, just to make it so it wasn't seemingly older as the year went on. But then as I went back and started emailing and applying for different jobs and that kind of stuff, I kind of forgot the exact file name of the newest one. So I may have accidentally, and by may I mean very, very likely did, send out a much, much older version of my resume. So, first lesson to be learned from that is, don't keep a ton of old versions of your resume, especially with really generic names for them. But also, make sure that you check through all of your files and make sure you know which one is the most recent one. Because there are a few jobs that I'm probably a whole lot less likely to get now just because I sent out the wrong version of my resume. Now, if you go back and email and say, hey, I apologize for the confusion, but I sent you the wrong copy of my resume at first. Here's the updated one. Or even if you just say, I updated it, here it is. There's still sometimes potential for question marks and flags to come up just because of that. Because it'll make them wonder, at the very least, like, well, why didn't I get the most updated version in the first place? Or why are these changes coming now? Or anything like that. Even if I hadn't so royally messed up and sent the super old version of it, if they're getting a second version that I say is updated but looks barely any different, they might wonder why the change and that kind of stuff. So that was the thing that I most recently did to myself in terms of my job searching. Lesson learned, to just make sure that you know what you're doing if and when keeping multiple versions of your resume. Now, I understand sometimes, you know, you gotta have a PDF version because some places will only want PDF versions, or some it doesn't matter so much, but in any case, that's really the main thing that was going through my mind and that happened recently, and that I just feel like I'm like, in my brain, just all the face palms in the world, like, so hard they're through the back of my head, practically. But yeah, there are sometimes other things that we can sort of do to ourselves in the job search process. Some of these things are a little bit more subjective, but others are still not good ideas. Like, I'll give you another example from a previous time when I was job searching. It's pretty much never a good idea to, especially early on in the process, before you've even done an interview, it's not a good idea to come across in any informal kind of way. What I had done in this particular case previously, this was years ago. So what I was trying to do was just ask about the timing of the interview that they wanted to do so I could plan my food eating schedule around it. I made the mistake, though, of putting my reasoning, why I wanted to know the timing of it, into the email, and that did not go over well. That came across rather unprofessionally to this particular church that I was applying for, and was part of the reason I did not get accepted for that position. So, I know it can be difficult sometimes, especially when you're juggling around a lot of different possible opportunities and you're still wanting to put more stuff into the funnel, so to speak, of job prospects. Sometimes it can get a little confusing what you've said to which place and how far you are in the process, or what needs to happen, or which version of your resume you might have sent out if you've updated it, and that kind of stuff. And look, I'm not going to say that this is like a totally ridiculous thing that is like these are all major idiot moves, but at the same time, these do happen, but try to minimize them as much as possible, because obviously they're going to kind of hurt your prospects a little bit. Some of the more subjective things, especially in terms of a resume, might be whether or not you should keep certain past experiences on there. Some places say it's a bad idea to have anything that you were involved with for less than a year. Other times, though, like, if it was kind of the most significant experience, you may want to keep it on there, just because it was, hey, this was my biggest leadership type role within this line of work, and so I want to have this on here to show you that I have done some of this before, even if it was a little bit short-lived. So some of those things you get kind of in a catch-22 style scenario. Again, those are some of the more subjective ones. The ones that you really want to try your hardest not to have happen are the less subjective things, like, you want to make sure that you're coming across as professionally as possible. Don't be dishonest, but at the same time, just think about how it might come across before you send anything out. And then, of course, try to make sure that you have everything sorted out and organized in terms of, applications and resumes and different documents like that. Because otherwise, you're going to end up pulling the stupid move I made of sending the wrong resume to a few places. And people are going to wonder what the heck has been happening the past 3 years. Because that's how old, if not even older, that the version of my resume that I sent out was. But anyway, yeah, so, again, we're human. We make mistakes. It's not like it's some totally absurd thing that's never happened before. But it will keep some places kind of questioning and then less likely to hire you if you make those kind of mistakes. So, I think that about covers it related to this little incident. Really, I think that's about the best word for it, this little gaffe that I have made. So, that's gonna do it this time around. As always, like, share, subscribe, click the bell. Then you'll stay up to date on all my YouTube stuff. Feel free to follow me, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. That's all down in the description below. Leave some comments with your thoughts on this video. If you have any other similar things that you've done by mistake that you want other people to know not to do, or if, you just other related stuff, or just anything else you want me to talk about, let me know down below. So that's all I've got. I hope you're all doing well, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Stay cool, people.